UFC Saturday.
Bro,
Saturday
even
night.
the little clips on the what is called that we just had, the gloves off. What the was you doing?
Hey, you know what?
Gervonta Davis's corner. So you have Coach Calvin, and Coach Calvin is the head trainer, and you have Coach Kenny, who really specializes on preparing game plans specifically for opponents.
Gervonta Tank Davis shocked the boxing world by delivering a jaw-dropping slap to Lamont Roach during a heated face-off that instantly turned volatile. What was supposed to be a promotional moment turned into a fuse-lit powder keg as Davis didn't just talk trash, he promised destruction, telling Roach he's going to break him when they finally step into the ring. Neither fighter flinched, and the tension hung so thick it could have been cut with a glove. The raw animosity on display wasn't just for show, it felt personal, dangerous, and deeply rooted. This was more than just pre-fight hype, it was a signal that we may be heading toward one of the most hostile, emotionally charged battles of the year. Inside the gym, Gervonta Davis is entering this rematch like a man possessed, recommitted to discipline, isolation, and intensity under the steady direction of longtime mentor Calvin Ford. But this camp feels different. Gone is the open-door environment and the peripheral noise from DC-based contributors. This time, Davis's circle is tight, silent, and strategically sealed. No leaks. No distractions. No room for guesswork. Unlike their first bout, where speculation swirled that Roach may have been tipped off to Tank's tactics, this rematch is a lockdown mission. The blueprint has been burned, rewritten, and encrypted. With Ford calling the shots and redemption in clear focus, Davis isn't just training, he's constructing a calculated storm with every jab and counter.
He's 100% correct. Personally, I had Gervonta Davis up a round. Because whenever you have rounds where nobody's doing anything, I'm not just going to do what most people do, and especially people that don't like Gervonta Davis, which is just give the round to the other guy because Gervonta Davis didn't manage to knock him out that round. Okay, so this is Gary Russell Jr. clearly saying, man, no, I don't think Lamont Roach won that fight. You also had Al Bernstein, and Al Bernstein, I'm telling you, is a very, very straight, fair guy who I don't know if he was on that call, but he used to work with Showtime. I don't know if he was on there. I don't recall if I heard him. I think it was Rolly Ronaldo that was calling it. But Al Bernstein, who was a very, very objective person, said, hey, look, no. Sorry to break it to you, but Gervonta Davis won that fight. Yeah, Lamont Roach put up a really good fight, but Lamont Roach was not dynamic. He did not do anything to really separate himself from Gervonta Davis. He just kept it equal. He just tried to keep it even the entire fight. And that's not enough, again, to take the belt from the champion. Now, I do want to say that the people that thought that Lamont Roach won, I don't have any problem with that. I really don't have a problem with it at all. I personally, again, had a point for Gervonta Davis, but I can see how those swing rounds really could go, depending on who's looking at it, really could go different ways, right?
The numbers don't lie. Even before a single punch has been thrown, the rematch between Davis and Roach has become a commercial powerhouse, with 150,000 pay-per-view units sold in advance. That's not just hype, it's proof of public investment in a saga that's captured global attention. Their first fight left fans polarized and hungry for closure. Now, they're tuning in not just to see who wins, but to witness the defining chapter in an unfolding rivalry. This is no longer a simple rematch, it's a main event spectacle. With figures like these, Davis and Roach aren't just athletes, they've ascended into the cultural arena, carrying the sports narrative on their shoulders.
Tank out here selling under 150,000 pay-per-views, you kidding me? Oh man, Face the Boxing, yeah, turn that shit off. Yeah, we shutting that shit down every single time. Does Shakur really want to fight Tank? I think Shakur could sell a bit more with somebody else, especially in Saudi. I feel like they can find him a dancing partner that'll do a little bit better than 150,000. Okay, I get it. This is why PBC delayed this fight for 5 months? Y'all ain't want to pay this motherfucker because y'all know he can't sell. I mean, this should have been evident. If you do the math, Tank has never been that great of a pay-per-view draw. He sold over 300K twice now in his career. He sold over 300K with Ryan Garcia. That's obvious. Ryan's the bigger star. And then he sold over 300 with Martin. He sold about 325. But when we put it in perspective, that Frank Martin fight was a comeback fight after a year layoff, so it was always going to sell. Every comeback fight's going to sell. It was one of the first pay-per-views on Amazon's new PBC deal, so they were really trying to push it. And then he had David Benavidez as the co-main event with Gary Russell and Alberto Puello under them. You take away all those factors that this wasn't a comeback fight. David Benavidez isn't the co-main event, and Amazon has now been in the game for over a year. It makes sense it only sold 150. I know there's going to be a couple of you guys in the comments. No, it sold 500K. Don't be so gullible. They didn't sell 500K. I don't know if Tank's a top... Well, I know for a fact he's not a top 5 draw in the sport of boxing anymore. Whoa. He's not selling pay-per-views. Bivol better BF just triple him. Well, Jerry, their pay-per-views are cheaper. Don't matter. All that matters is who has more eyes watching them, and Bivol and better BF do. Tank.
Rather than scrap everything and start from scratch, Davis's camp took a smarter, more surgical approach. After reviewing the footage from their initial clash, they found that the flaws weren't foundational, they were in the margins. Missed timing, lapses in aggression, and moments of hesitation cost Davis the edge. Now, those margins are being tightened. Foot placement, distance control, and punch entry angles have all been recalibrated. They didn't rebuild Davis, they optimized him. The core remains intact, but the delivery is sharper, more deliberate. Expect a version of Davis that still hits hard but now thinks faster, moves cleaner, and pounces with precision rather than emotion.
He got a good chin. Oh, he got a good chin. If you got a good chin, okay, let's go ahead, let's touch this. The chin ain't the only thing that can get you out of there. There's other things you can do and then go back to the chin. I won't go into details, but I look at shit different from a lot of people, man. You know what I'm saying? You got a fighter that listens, he's gonna be a hell of a fighter if he listens to what I tell him. You know, all fighters don't listen because some missions you put them on, you gotta walk through hell to get it done, and every fighter's not willing to walk through hell. You know what I mean? But the chin is not the only thing to get a fight out of it, and the body's not the only thing to get a fight out of it. It's other shit too, you know. I believe in hurting them. You gotta hurt them to get it started, you know.
Petey, thank you for the $2. People were surprised by Roach and Tank. What do you think the biggest surprise was in the fight?
It wasn't a surprise because we know Roach. It wasn't a surprise. Roach can fight. A lot of people think because a person is not popular, they don't exist. There's fighters out there that can rumble. They just got to get the opportunity, you know?
One of the most controversial moments from their first meeting, a suspected knockdown, may have been deeply misunderstood. New reports suggest that what appeared to be a slip in endurance may have actually been caused by an external irritant, possibly a grooming product affecting Davis's vision mid-fight. If that's true, the entire moment takes on a different meaning. It's not a crack in his armor, it's a fluke. And for Davis's supporters, that narrative shift reinforces the belief that their fighter's skill and toughness remain unquestioned. Now, his camp is leaving nothing to chance, tightening every detail to ensure that no cosmetic misstep clouds the outcome of what's at stake.
Everybody really think Tank go take the L. I've been seeing it. They said it's over. They think that this time Lamont go in more confident, knowing that basically he can, really take it to Tank. Yeah, I want him to go in there confident. He's very skilled. Go in there confident because you will go up against a different Tank. Like I told y'all in previous videos, he go in there confident, thinking he could walk Tank down. Don't forget, with Tank, if he hit you on that button, them lights going off. I don't care who you is. Remember how it ended up with Frank Martin? So yeah, don't go in there thinking that you going against like somebody that, like Ryan Garcia, somebody that's gonna fold. You going against Gervonta Tank Davis. And I think that confidence is what's gonna get Lamont dropped. Because one thing I will say, with Tank, that wasn't your best fight against Lamont, bro. I feel like you was in your head too much. You was overconfident, and you was really just, your mind was in y'all story, the lore and everything with y'all history. You ain't going there like I'm fighting a stranger. You going there like, oh, this Lamont, this from the same camp, we from the same area. But now I think that whole situation woke him up, because you gotta think, Tank not used to losing. He not used to people being against him. He not used to being the one that...
Respected former world champion Mikey Garcia weighed in on the upcoming rematch and didn't pull any punches. While he praised Davis's explosive talent and sharp instincts, Garcia issued a warning that power alone won't win this one. According to him, Davis will be tested not just in technique but in psychological stability. In the pressure cooker of public expectation, personal distractions, and media scrutiny, mental clarity becomes the ultimate weapon. Garcia believes Davis can win, but only if his mind is as tuned as his hands. This won't be just a boxing match, it'll be a test of internal discipline under fire.
I'll let you go because I know I got a lot of shit to do. Lamont Roach versus Gervonta, the rematch. Looks like it's gonna happen, hopefully. I'd like to see it.
I think Tank wins in the rematch.
Why?
I think he'll make the right adjustments, and he won't take too long to fight. He kind of gave a lot of the round away sometimes. I think he'll be more active, and then he'll win. But big props to Roach for his last fight and performance. Fuck, I'm surprised everybody.
Right.
I think he was robbed from the victory. Again, that knockdown should have been a knockdown.
Right.
But whatever, he gets a rematch, you know. And maybe they get a third fight, you know, after that. Who knows?
Maybe it turns to Marquez Pacquiao.
Maybe it turns out to be another great fucking matchup, and they say, you know what, let's run it back.
Right.
And maybe that controversy from the first fight actually helps Roach fucking get 3 fights out of it instead of just the one, or you know, you never know. So hey, things happen for a reason, and I think he did really well in his first one.
After the close call in the first fight, whispers spread that Gervonta Davis might be stepping back from the sport. But instead of retreating into silence, Davis punched through the noise by returning to camp almost immediately. No delay, no downtime, just action. The decision to run it back so fast wasn't just about settling a score, it was a declaration of identity. Davis isn't a fighter who folds under pressure. He's the kind that takes a hit, resets, and comes back even harder. That mindset alone has flipped the script, turning speculation into certainty, and doubt into fuel. Davis isn't chasing relevance, he's rewriting how his legacy gets remembered.
I want to know, when is the rematch going to happen at this point? Because I'm not going to lie, for it to be a whole month later and y'all still arguing over who actually won is just really like, okay, yeah, run it back, because we got to go ahead and settle this, squabble this up. I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to say neither fighter in here is shitty, okay? Because after the fight I seen on March 1st, yeah, they both was tagging shit. Both getting up with each other, okay? I feel like this is the perfect match. If anybody's gonna do a rematch, you need to be there, period. And Gervonta was stinging him. I'm not gonna lie, he was stinging him. Great fight for him. But I'm not gonna lie, he came out knowing what he was trying to do. Y'all have to give it to him. Like, y'all just be hating, okay? Y'all can't get in the ring and fucking fight. Y'all just be hating. He's something to give him birthday props, okay? Because Gervonta had a great fight. Don't get me wrong. My money was on him. But I think what messed him up was the fact that when he came out, y'all know he usually be 2 steps ahead. He was 3 steps ahead. I feel like he already had Tank figured out. And he definitely was not expecting that. And him, on the other hand, I think he came in really having something to prove. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Like, it was a really good fight, and I feel like this is how I see it. In the beginning of the fight, he was stinking, back to back, you know what I'm saying? And then at the end of the fight, that's when he finally kicked it up. But I seen consistency through him through the whole fight. I'm not gonna lie, like, so I just feel like the rematch should happen, because never know. He might, now that he was 3 steps ahead, become 8 steps ahead, and he might really knock his butt down. But at the end of the day, it's like, we need this rematch, because I don't think this is ever gonna be a dispute that is settled and, you know, officially he won, he lost until they fight. Like, we gotta see it.
Legendary boxing analyst Teddy Atlas offered his own take on Davis, and it went far beyond knockout clips. While many praise Tank for his devastating finishes, Atlas focused on the subtleties, the way Davis measures distance, controls rhythm, and remains calm while chaos erupts around him. That emotional control, according to Atlas, is Davis's true weapon. He doesn't panic under pressure, he adjusts, calculates, and strikes when it matters most. These traits, though less flashy, make him a nightmare for opponents. Because when everything else in the ring breaks down, Davis doesn't. That calm amid the storm is what turns great fighters into champions.
Try to get to us, but we're going to frustrate him. He doesn't get frustrated. He takes his time. He's deliberate. You know, a lot of times at the beginning, people thought he was just a seek and destroy missile. They thought he was just a guy that got to you. And they thought that he would get over anxious. He don't get over anxious. He takes his time. He slowly closes those gaps. You know, inch by inch, step by step, and then he gets to.
ESPN's Stephen A. Smith brought his signature energy to the discussion, zeroing in on the physical mismatch that could shape the outcome. While acknowledging Roach's refined skill set and boxing IQ, Smith made it clear Davis's size, power, and raw physical presence could turn this bout into a street fight. In close range, where finesse fades and strength takes over, Davis holds the edge. Roach may be more technical, but Davis brings the kind of body control and aggression that can smother even the slickest fighters. As Smith put it, this isn't ballet, it's war. And wars are won not just with footwork, but with firepower.
And lastly, Steve, a last name I of course want to throw your way is Gervonta Davis. I know you believe in his skills.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
What do you think of his fight with Roach? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think Roach is too small. I think Roach is too small. And that's my issue. I'm not questioning the skill set or anything like that. But it was similar to Frank Martin. You know what I mean? This guy comes in there and you got 18 fights. And I remember watching that pre-fight press conference when he was annoying Gervonta Davis so much and he cussed by accident. Excuse me. He cussed by accident. He was like, ooh, you know, making this up. He hurt me in sparring and, you know, and I knew Gervonta was going to come for him. And sure enough, that's what he did. Walked right towards him from round one on. But, you know, I remember what he said and it really, really struck me. Gervonta's a smart dude, bro, and he said you really should have waited. You don't have enough experience. You really should have waited and took your time before you came to me, and that's what Gervonta Davis told him, and he was right.
This isn't just another training camp for Davis, it's a mission. Every sparring session, every sprint, every rep is loaded with purpose. He's carrying the weight of public critique, media noise, and the pressure of proving that last time was an outlier, not a new normal. The tone in camp isn't hopeful, it's urgent. Davis isn't just preparing to win, he's preparing to make a statement so loud it silences everyone who questioned him. The fire in his eyes says it all. This isn't about redemption. It's about dominance. And when a fighter with Tank's power starts training like he has something to prove, danger follows.
Step back from the situation. That's why I think he's being hushed right now, because when he come this time, it ain't no talking, and that's why I think it's scary, because we never see Tank in that mode where he don't say a word. I think this gonna be a different Tank. And what's crazy is Tank used to be like that in the beginning, like when he was with Floyd. Like, I'm talking about Tank with the fade, with the waves, bro. He ain't used to be on that showboat and stuff until he got, like, you know, a little bit more in the boxing, you know, thing. Of course, once you with Floyd, you're gonna start being flashy and doing backflips off the ring. But in his beginning stages, dude wasn't playing. He was dropping I think that's what he about to go to, bro. And we know that people like, man, did he take Calvin off his team? Nah, like he said, Calvin his boy. I think he's just rocking with somebody else right now to get him some sharper skills, you know, to change up his skill and what people know him by. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I think Tank gonna take it to Lamont. And that's not me being biased. I think we ain't ever seen Tank like this.
To level up even further, Davis brought in renowned trainer Kenny Ellis, a coach known for his tactical precision and relentless attention to detail. With Ellis involved, there's no such thing as a light day. Every movement, every slip, every guard transition is reviewed, corrected, and drilled until flawless. Ellis doesn't just coach, he reconstructs. Under his supervision, Davis's game is getting polished to a mirror shine. This is strategic evolution, not brute repetition. On fight night, Ellis will be more than just a corner presence, he'll be the architect behind every split-second adjustment. And with him at Davis's side, that corner becomes a weapon all its own.
Trainers in boxing, second guy in the corner, is responsible for a lot of the real tactical decisions and tactical analysis that goes on in Gervonta Davis's corner. So you have Coach Calvin, and Coach Calvin is the head trainer, and you have Coach Kenny, who really specializes on preparing game plans specifically for opponents. So to have him talk about what's going on with Lamont Roach, I thought was interesting and insightful, because what he said was that, one, he's not falling for the okie doke. When Mill City asked him, hey, what do you think about the fact that, that Lamont Roach was seen at a basketball game chugging a beer? And I would have added to the question that you see Lamont Roach out giving a bunch of interviews, doing the interview circuit, right? Kind of being a little bit out of character leading into the rematch. Do you think, and this is what Mill City asked, do you think that is something you guys are taking in consideration in preparation for the fight? And what Kenny Ellis said was, look, man, we're not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. We know what Lamont Roach brings to the table, and he says that Lamont Roach is, we're not believing that he's out there drinking or blowing up a bunch of weight and all of that. He says what most people say, hey, we're going to prepare for the best version of Lamont Roach that is going to, that'll come for us. But the way that he saw the fight coming out was he said he sees it like the fight before, a lot of really crisp shots landing.
That's it for today's breakdown, but don't blink. This rematch is shaping up to be one of the most explosive showdowns in recent boxing history. With personal pride, professional legacy, and pay-per-view millions on the line, every second in the ring will matter. Stay locked in, we'll have more as fight night draws near.